Hey guys, MD Prepper here. We're going to be talking about a topic of prepping and survival and outdoor use that I don't think is covered enough. Headgear and headwear. There's a lot of stuff out there on knives and fire sources and cover and food and everything else. But has anybody ever really talked about what you need to be wearing on your head? What's a good choice? No, I've not seen that out there. Maybe it's out there, and maybe you could direct me to it. But honestly, we need to be talking about what we're putting on top of our heads, okay? Everybody thinks about a standard baseball cap, and we'll be talking about that too. It has its pluses and minuses. But there's a lot of other options out there that offer a whole lot of better protection versus whatever your environment is. We're going to be talking about the Pith Helmet first. Living here in the South where it gets hot and humid and nasty most of the year. Mostly hot. The cold weather, well, we'll talk about that later, but not as bad as the hot weather. Steamy, nasty, sweaty, generally uncomfortable. If you're out in the bush, whether hiking, camping, or surviving, you need something good on your head, okay? I think the Pith Helmet is a highly underrated item out there. People look at it and go, oh, that's some snobby British thing. Yeah, it is, but those British and the British Empire had something going. They had things figured out. The Pith Helmet, let's start, is made out of pith. Pith is the pith of the sola plant. It's the body of it basically broken up and formed into a rigid shape here like this one. It can also be made out of cork. Most of them are not made out of cork anymore. Most of them are made out of pith. You can find cork, but you're going to pay more for it. I'm going to go ahead and say most pith helmets are made in Vietnam. That just seems to be the primary place for them. It says made in Vietnam on the inside here. And you say, well, I don't want something that's poorly made. It's not. There's a lot of well-made hats out there from Vietnam, especially in the pith line. Run you anywhere between $20 to $50 and up in general. So I'd say anywhere between $40 to $50 is going to be reasonable. I got this on sale a while back from some surplus dealer. I think it was Sportsman's Guide, can't remember, for about $20, $25. Love it. Have used it a lot out in the heat. Lots of advantages of the Pith Helmet, which we're going to talk about right now. Pith's very lightweight. Cork is too. This came out before there was such a thing as styrofoam. Very lightweight, not going to add a lot of weight on your head, and it's not an insulator. It's not going to add heat to your head like styrofoam would do. You know, not going to take any blows from anything particularly well. It's going to shatter fairly easily if, somebody hits you upside the head with a war club or something like that, a big stick. But that's not why you wear it. You wear this to keep off the heat stroke and keep the sun out of your face, etc. Nothing wrong with that. Other than being light, and this thing is ultra lightweight, it's also absorbent. One of the best things about this hat, other than the ventilation, which we'll talk about in a second, is this thing can be soaked. You can soak it overnight, or if you're out in the field, you can dip it down in a stream or a river, something like that, bucket of water, and it will absorb water. Obviously somewhat slowly. That's why it's better to soak it overnight. But basically it's evaporative cooling. You put it on your head, it's not going to just drip water down onto you. It's going to slowly evaporate, especially slowly through the cloth cover, and provide some evaporative cooling effects, which is going to keep you feeling cooler and being a bit cooler out in the severe heat. So great advantage to the Pith Helmet that your other hats don't really have. You dip a baseball cap in water, it's just soaking wet, it's going to drip down on you. It's going to help a little bit on the evaporative cooling, but not as well as this one. That's a tremendous advantage in my book. Wide brim on it, not as wide as some of your Stetsons or anything like that, but those Stetsons are going to be more insulators. They're going to keep your head warmer, which is not what you want. Nice brim, front and back, a little narrower here on the sides, if you can see that there. Very cool looking, very stylish. Does the job. Would not necessarily recommend wearing this in town in a SHTF around other folks because you might look a little pretentious wearing a Pith Helmet, British design, that type of stuff. But for general field use and all that, I think this is tremendously superior to your standard straw hat, something like that. Okay, that straw hat's going to fall apart in a hurry if you get it wet and keep it wet. This thing's designed for that. Will it wear out after a while? Well, of course it will. Anything you use too much will. Love the evaporative cooling on this. Another major advantage of this thing is ventilation. Okay, you got lots of ventilation holes here on the side. You got 4 down here, 2 up here. Same on the other side. And up top, the crown here is ventilated as well. There's some holes that I'm not so sure you can see. And it's ventilated on the inside. It's that little metal ventilation area in there. Adjustable straps, very basic Velcro, nothing fancy. Again, this is a relatively cheaper Pith helmet, but does well. I've used this a fair amount. I have not dipped this in any kind of streams or anything like that would mar the finish here and get the thing dirty. That's fine. Who cares if you're out surviving? Who cares what the thing looks like? Tends to come in two general colors: this khaki color, which is usually worn by civilians back in the day per history, and white, which tends to be more military. The white's fine, going to be cool as well, but it's going to show dirt and grime and stuff a lot easier than this khaki. So that's the reason I got the khaki. The little strap here on the front is technically intended as a neck strap, cinch this thing down if you need to. This is cheaply made. This is just more for adornment purposes, just to look like a proper Pith helmet, I think. I don't use it as that. This fits me perfectly on the head, fits snug but not too much, so no problems there. Another advantage of this rigid style hat compared to something like a baseball cap or a boonie hat is it is rigid. It's nice and firm. You say, well, why is that a good thing? Well, it's not going to collapse down on your head. It's going to give you nice air space up above your head for ventilation, evaporative cooling, etc. This thing is not going to get soggy and fall apart like a baseball cap is and flop down on your head and trap heat. It's going to allow evaporation up on the inside. It's going to allow airflow to come in and out that you're not going to get from a lot of other options other than maybe a straw hat, and even that's not going to be as good because they tend not to have the ventilation holes like this one does. Love this hat. Love it a lot. The Pith helmet, rather than a hat, I guess. But very cool. Very, very lightweight. I don't actually have the weight on this. Now, if you step on this or fall on it, yeah, you're probably going to crush it and it's going to be useless, but take good care of your hats. They'll take good care of you. Lots of advantages of the Pith helmet here in the South. This is my favorite for out in the backyard or wherever in the heck I happen to be around close to home. Again, if you're going to soak it overnight, you need to know you're going to go out and use the thing. Does dry out slowly over time, does not warp this thing, does not deform it at all, does not weaken the strength. And again, if you dip it in dirty water or something like that, yeah, you are going to get the outside nasty looking, but who cares? Doesn't matter. Adds character. Pith helmet. 20-30 bucks overall. Ultra lightweight. If you live here in the South, the humid Southeast or the dry Southwest, I would say this is an excellent choice for anybody out and about. And it's not as easy to pack and all, but hey, it's not supposed to be packed. It's going to be on your head. So good to go there. If you're going to pack something, would recommend a boonie hat, something like that. We'll talk about that in future videos. Just thought I need to talk about headgear and headwear options for prepping and just general use. So the Pith helmet, highly like it, strongly recommend it, and I probably need to pick up a few more in various styles. Now there's other hot weather style hats and helmets, your Panama hats and all that. I'll be talking about those at some point. My father's big into the Panama hats, loves them. I don't have one yet, but we'll get one soon. Pith helmet, cool stuff, guys. If you don't have one, get one. High cool factor. MD Prepper, out.